Hi, this is Dave Vellante, live at Wikibon headquarters, and it's my pleasure today to be here with Ben Wu, who's the Vice President of Storage Research at IDC. Welcome, Ben.
Thank you very much.
Up from the Big Apple today, flew up just for the Cube, right?
Just for the Cube.
Worldwide headquarters here at Wikibon, our modest headquarters. Thanks for coming on. And so we're going to talk storage. You know, Ben is a tremendous expert, good colleague and friend, and I really enjoy, listening to you at the various analyst events and reading your material, watching you on Twitter at BenWooNY.
Correct.
And you a Yankees fan?
Yes.
Oh, okay. How's that work out with your colleagues from IDC Framingham?
It works out when we're winning.
So when you're winning. So I understand one of your closers is kind of a prima donna. He doesn't want to pitch against the American League East team. So we'll see how that works out. But, you guys, it's always a good rivalry. Stu's very happy over here. We're just getting invaded by Yankee fans in New York, in Boston. So, listen, we were both at the HP event last week. Why don't we start there and talk a little bit about that? Now, you missed day one. Right?
I did, yeah.
So you didn't see Apotheker. Pretty high-level stuff. You probably read the feedback in the various publications. Not a lot of detail, but basically they're all in on cloud. They're going to do storage as a service. We heard that.
And that's a good thing, and I think overall the vision seems to be in the right place.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, I didn't expect a lot of detail on the first day, but on the second day we did get a lot of detail.
A lot of detail.
Now a lot of it was under NDA, but talk a little bit about what you see with HP. I mean, they've obviously transformed the whole storage business, and now the whole converged infrastructure thing coming together. What's your angle? What's your take? What is IDC saying about HP's position in storage generally and just the market specifically?
The biggest challenge for HP, I think it's the fact that they really haven't had a lot of innovation for a while, and they've had very much an aging platform. If you take a look at the marketplace today, HP is still number one in storage, but not by much. IDC measures storage in two ways, internal and external, right? Historically, EMC's had a great leadership in the external market, but last year, during 2010, statistically, from an IDC perspective, HP and EMC were tied for the total storage market, even though EMC sells nothing into the internal storage market. So it's been a bit of a setback. I think the fact that Donatelli won 3-par in DN, and as well as the transformation of the left-hand products, going to give him a nice portfolio from small to large. And I'm very encouraged by David Scott being GM there right now.
Yeah, so Donatelli is, we got a flavor for Dave Donatelli, didn't we? Everything was on time.
Yes.
Right? Everybody was sort of marching to the same tune, and I thought that was pretty impressive. But the point you're making is quite interesting. You're saying that HP, if I interpret this correctly, has a lot of upside just through internal storage.
Absolutely.
Because when I started in this business, HP, IBM, Digital Equipment Corporation, their attach rates for storage and their own server platforms was huge, like 85, 90%. Now, I don't know what they are. I don't know if you know what they are, but I doubt they're within HP's basis.
It's nowhere near that anymore. I think part of the challenge here has been compensation models for HP. Part of it has been just the way they sell storage and where they approach storage. When Compaq bought DEC, StorageWorks was a strong brand. Whether you liked them or not, different story, but it was a good brand and a strong brand. I think they've lost that over the years, and it's a real pity. But I think the invigoration of the platform and the fact that they're leveraging platforms that are much more flexible and agile, and platforms that are cloud ready is going to be very positive for them in terms of taking that leadership back.
So, I mean, basically, if they just increase their share of their own server platforms, they're going to get a big hit.
Sure.
Don't they still have a lot of work to do with sort of rationalizing the portfolio? I mean, they're still
Agreed.
pretty complex, and now, but EMC's got a pretty complex portfolio too, as does IBM. Does that change? Is everybody sort of? And of course, we saw NetApp actually go away, but NetApp is the one company with the single product, single platform. They just bought LSI, so they're sort of going away from that strategy a little bit. But is that what we're seeing? Are we just? Is that something that users have to live with? That diversity of portfolio?
I think users are going to be bifurcated between small and medium-sized businesses that are looking for a much more an attach rate, singular vendor approach versus the best of breed that we're going to still see in large organizations. And I think the fact that most companies out there have a two-product family strategy, the lower end and the higher end, will continue for many years to come. I think where HP still needs to work on is the bit in the middle. So the high end of left hand, the low end of the 3-par solutions don't match up or overlap right now, and I think they need to work on that. But outside of that, they've got a good, strong, loyal base in both the MSA product and the EVA product that they need to sustain. But the key strategy for HP now is to make sure they can convert and evolve those customers to a new architecture, which is what 3PAR on the left-hand offers.
So what's your take on the whole R&D versus acquisition? I mean, is it R&D to basically do integration work, like you're saying, with say Left Hand and 3PAR and that kind of integration, and then acquisition for innovation, or can we still get innovation through R&D? What's your take on that?
I'd like to see HP do more innovation. I mean, they led with Store Once last year, which came out of HP Labs. But I am critical of HP and the fact that there's not been enough innovation coming out of HP Labs. It used to be that everything did come out of labs, much like IBM still has a lot of investment in their R&D and very proud of their research department. I don't see that with HP anymore. But I think there's no right or wrongs in terms of whether you organically grow or whether you inorganically acquire to create the innovation. But then the key aspect for HP right now is to make sure that they can do the attaches to their server platform and their network platform, much like Oracle is doing with their database to their hardware platform, to create some differentiation and to create performance and ease of acquisition for the customer.
Yeah, so you mentioned Oracle, and of course Exadata had a ripple effect through the entire industry. EMC buys Greenplum, and several other with IBM, Netezza, and then Astra Data just gets picked up by Teradata, and of course Vertica, which I think was a great pickup. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think Vertica will provide the necessary glue pieces for HP to deliver a highly integrated solution. And I think there have been a lot of debate around whether vertically integrated solutions is best for the customer. I think as we move forward, the end user, the CIOs, are looking for simplicity in their infrastructure. They're looking for three things: predictability in performance and deployment, which will enable them to have repeatability, which ends up with sustainability in success.
Yeah, so converged infrastructure is another major theme that we heard from HP, and to me, you've really got there's HP, there's VCE, let's say, there's IBM and Oracle, and I guess to a certain extent Dell, but really it's HP and it's VCE. Really, the guys going hard after converged infrastructure. Oracle's, I guess, doing it with InfiniBand, and IBM's sort of doing its services thing and cobbling it all together, and Dell's sort of playing catch up in this whole space, really, but different philosophies that we heard from HP versus, say, VCE. VCE is like VMware all the way, homogeneous. HP's sort of more open. Of course, they don't own the hypervisor. What's your take on all that?
I think HP suffers from a couple of things. They don't own the hypervisor. They don't own a database right now that is as wide and as popular as Oracle. Not to say that VCE and the Greenplum components are that popular either. But I think the key thing for HP right now is that integration is key. And now whether integration is done on the VAR level, or whether it's done on the vendor level, or manufacturer level, or frankly at the customer level, those are the three different approaches that we're going to see. And I don't know that any customer is going to say one is better than the other. You've got the Googles of the world who are still doing it yourself, essentially, right? You've got some customers who are going to want very highly integrated, delivered to me in one SKU type of approaches, and those in the middle. And I think that will continue moving forward, and having the flexibility to deliver all three models is going to be key for HP.
Yeah, so we spent a lot of time on HP, obviously, but it's an interesting topic. I thought Randy Seidel's presentation, who runs ESSN sales for North America, was very compelling.
Absolutely, yeah.
The guy obviously brings a lot of sort of EMC execution ethos, along with some others like Tom Joyce and others, Gary Veal in Europe. What's your take on the whole sales and channel enablement?
Having spent a lot of time in sales, I really respect Randy's approach. It's back to basics. It's just doing the sales 101 stuff on a day-to-day basis. So I'm very encouraged by his approach and his methodology. It sounds old-fashioned in some ways, putting on a decent suit and actually going out and making calls, basic things, but it's blocking and tackling.
Yeah. Okay, let's switch gears a little bit, talk about Flash. My colleague, John Furrier